Hi, everybody. I am Jim Wanzeck with Remax Masters Millennium. And I'm here with Fred Louis, and we're here in the Mount Elbert studio interviewing, and our whole program is to try and get to know our agents better through this process. But, you know, it's a blast, and it's really neat that I get an opportunity to interview. I was just interviewed myself, so it is something that we really enjoy here. We've got a great facility, we've got a great office, and we've got an office of entrepreneurs. And I will tell you, that's really in the heart of Fred Louis. So, Fred, hi, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Mr. Wanzeck. It's good to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. Tell me a little bit about your time in Arkansas with your family. I know that's a big part of your life, and I know you're here in Colorado, but let's start with
All my family's in Arkansas, except for one.
Okay.
So the short time that I spent there, I am 32 years old and spent about 31 years there, so brief time. And now my wife, who I met, she did not like the humidity there.
Okay.
And Colorado is similar to the Utah climate.
Okay.
So we settled on a middle neutral territory of Denver, Colorado. Here we are, and we're doing okay. We're doing good. This is a great state. It's amazing here, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah. So tell me, I mean, because I know your wife, but you also have two boys. So tell me a little bit about that. Where do you live, and how, tell me a little bit more how you picked Colorado.
So our goal in moving was to be in Denver. We did not want to be outside in one of the suburbs or in a different county. It was, we're moving to Denver. So we live in Denver proper.
Okay.
And I really, looking at the map, wanted to live west of 25. Would have put us out in Lakewood. My wife picked the neighborhood that we live in.
Okay.
And it's very centrally located. It is super centrally located. It's a great area. It's called Corey Merrill.
Yep.
There's a very large seminary, I think a Catholic, some type of establishment there for the whole neighborhood. So we picked Denver. I had been doing some commercial classes for real estate. My sister lived up here for a little while.
Okay.
Moving too much. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So I have been here more than just about any other place. And I just, the opportunity was there.
Fantastic.
You jump on an opportunity when it's there.
Well, but you also moved here pretty much when COVID was going through, and so you've dealt with that as a broker. Tell us a little about your experiences of good and bad, maybe, of COVID.
So as far as real estate goes, it didn't slow down. Being in a new market's completely different than growing up somewhere, knowing everybody, having high school connections, having family connections, and we just walked around. We moved up here and lived in Cap Hill neighborhood. So we lived on 7th and Corona, and it was, so sorry about hitting the table. So
That's all right.
it's just a great experience to move up here.
Cool. Cool.
And so I started at a different Remax.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Not knowing anything or anybody, and had an opportunity to come down to your office and give an interview. And if I would have known about you first, I would have just come here.
Okay.
Good environment, good people, good mentors, lots of people to help and ask questions and bounce ideas off of, and figure out how the Colorado contract works, how buyers act here, how sellers like to be treated here, when a good time to do an open house is, how to do marketing. I didn't have a farm back in Arkansas. Being from there, not here, I just picked an area and started farming it. And I've got a lot of business from that. It's the cost of the farming has been paid for the next several years based off the income from some of those sales.
Okay.
So
Yep.
establishing yourself. I don't want to take over the interview or questions. I don't even know if I've gone off of what we started talking about.
This is exactly what we were. You're right on track. So,
Okay.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about. So you do have a farm area now?
I do. So there's an area in Denver called Park Hill.
Okay.
Right. It's just across from City Park. And South Park Hill is where I focused. Back in Arkansas, there's a fancy little neighborhood called Park Hill.
Okay.
And I was looking at the map, and I looked at Hilltop first, and I thought, I don't know, I just don't really want to work in Hilltop. And then I just picked South Park Hill.
Okay.
And Home prices there, phenomenal. People
Right.
who live there, phenomenal. When I first got here, so there are services that you can subscribe to and get phone numbers and email addresses and home addresses and names of the people that own property in that area. So that's how I started cold calling.
Okay.
And there's about 3,600 homes in South Park Hill. I've called, there's a minimum of 3 numbers associated with each property. Called every single one of those numbers for every single one of those properties. Probably had about a 20% answer rate.
Okay.
Called some attorneys who did not appreciate me calling and sincerely apologized to them because it wasn't the right thing to do.
Right.
But I'm trying to get my name out there, and marketing is the name of this game in real estate.
Absolutely.
We market property, we market ourselves. So, called every single one of those phone numbers, and then I set up a small little farm area for 600 houses in that neighborhood. So it's about a fifth of it.
Okay.
Maybe a sixth. Yeah, it's exactly a sixth of it. And send out something every single month to them.
Okay.
Something good every single month. And then I think I've had 3 sales. And it's about people. It's
Right.
about people and relationships. It has nothing to do with the fact that I've called over 10,000 numbers for the neighborhood. It has nothing to do with I've sent, 7,200 pieces of mail to the neighborhood. It doesn't matter. And beyond. What matters is that client's need. We're selling mom's house. She's too old. She can't live here anymore. Or I'd like to buy some investment property in South Park Hill. What do the numbers look like for me?
Yeah.
And, that's just my farming market area. I really have. So back in Arkansas, I was focusing a lot on commercial real estate.
Okay.
And commercial's really about numbers. The worse a commercial property looks, the better opportunity for a buyer there is.
Okay.
And what I like to talk to the sellers about on the commercial stuff when it's in bad shape is you have 3 options. Let's try and fix it up and rent it out. Option number 1, that gets you some income in immediately. Sell it the way that it is. Or fix it up, rent it out, and then sell it, which is the absolute most amount of money you can get on a commercial property, right? They sell it on a cap rate, which is a fancy way of saying how much do I get back on the money that I put out there.
Right.
So I have really, that's really what brought me to Denver in real estate was commercial stuff.
Yeah.
So while I have a farming market and I focus on South Park Hill, the way that I like to describe it is the residential stuff pays my bills until I can get, commercial's a lot longer lead time because it's usually a lot larger of a purchase price. And so those things don't just, fly off the shelf.
Right. Yeah, but so tell me, because I know that you've done, already done some like apartment buildings and some commercial deals, and I know you're passionate about that. What is the difference between a buyer that's looking for a home compared to maybe a commercial buyer?
Usually a couple $1 million.
Okay,
that's the short answer.
Okay,
so a commercial buyer cares about the overall physical condition of the property. And a residential buyer cares about the overall aesthetic condition of the property. And they're not so much concerned about the structural side. They want to know, does the bedroom layout work for me? Does the kitchen set up right for me? How do I like the backyard? And a commercial buyer says, is this a structurally sound building that can continue to generate revenue for me for the next umpteen years until I decide to dispose? They call it disposing of the asset.
Okay.
Or a product. And it's a world of difference. One of them's looking at a spreadsheet, and the other one looks at moving. So a house is a house until somebody comes in and makes it a home, something that's welcoming to walk into.
Right.
So it's a completely different mindset.
So tell me a little bit about, I always hear about cities that, are dying or whatever, and I don't think Arkansas is that, but,
Arkansas is a sleeper.
It's a
right?
sleeper.
It's a
Okay.
cash
Tell me about it.
flow heavy state.
Okay.
You hear in the news all the time about Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, all these states, those all border Arkansas.
Okay.
And the only way to get the materials from point A to point B is to drive through there. Walmart's there, so that's up in Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas is a completely different market, don't know much about it.
Okay.
So as an example, you can buy some property in Arkansas for $50,000, a house.
Okay.
Here in Denver, the cheapest stuff you can find is around $470,000, right?
Right.
That might even be very low right now, right? The numbers are going up.
Yeah.
So Sorry, I just kicked the table.
That's all right.
Then you can rent that same house that you pay $50,000 for, some of them for $900 a month.
Okay.
Okay. So
your cap rate, if you were looking at it from that standpoint, is fantastic.
yeah, if you were to get a loan on this property and buy some stuff. So here's a case in point. Exact Denver example to Arkansas. Mm-hmm. So there's an agent in the office here. Shout out to Ben Tidwell. Great guy. He had a client sell 3 properties that were renting for around $6,000 a month.
Okay.
He sold them. The guy walked away with over $1 million. Back in Arkansas, there was a small complex, 18-unit apartment complex, for lack of a better term. There's a bunch of duplexes.
Okay.
And day one, so he paid, the guy got to keep some money. He paid $1,080,000.
Okay.
Right? Sold for more than that up here. Day one, he was making $8,700 a month.
Okay.
So he went up $2,000 a month income-wise, and the rent was low per rental unit, enough that he's going to be close to $11,000 a month for the same price that he had here.
Yeah.
The difference is that that property is not going to be worth 1.2 or 1.5. Well, I mean, it is based off cash flow, but value-wise, if they were to sell individually, I mean, appreciation doesn't happen much in Arkansas. We can go through the tax records and look at stuff where people paid 80, and then you see them 10, 15 years later, and they paid 47 for the same property. And you say, what on earth happened?
Yeah.
So here, what I have seen and noticed is that stuff that was for sale for $60,000 back in the day is now $600,000. And I'm talking 30 years ago,
Right.
27 years ago.
Right.
So major appreciation here, but it's really tight on cash flow.
Right.
And you know, that's what I talk to a lot of people about is if you are looking for money to be coming in every single month, Arkansas is a great state for that. If you care about that monthly check instead of the long-term game, which is I'm going to wait 15, 20 years, I'll pay $300 a day, sell it for $600 in 10 years, and in the interim I get a little bit of money. Now it's a different strategy.
Yeah.
It's hard to hit both of those targets, cash flow and appreciation.
Okay. Yes, it is. It has been that difficult, and the first 30 years of my we didn't have appreciation in Colorado. I mean, 2% was like, okay, we hit a home run that year. So I can really see, Fred, that you're passionate about our industry. You've got a lot of opportunity here. It's great to bring
more opportunity here than I can honestly handle right now.
Yeah,
that's why I gave a shout out to Ben because Ben's helping me do stuff.
Oh, I know, and you know what? That's what this office is all about: is helping each other, making sure that we're looking out for each other. And so I really appreciate that you didn't stay at your other Remax, that you came here and you're a part of our team, and it's really a fun process. So
thank you for having me, Mr. Wanzeck.
Well, you're very welcome. So you tell me, how do we get a hold of you? What's the best number to get a hold of you?
My cell phone is 303-720-9410. Got the 303 and 720.
Whoa,
yeah.
That's somebody that looks from the outside and brings it and makes sure that they're part of the inside.
That's what I was going
for. If you really want to have some expert help with a young guy that's enthusiastic about our industry, please give Fred a call. And thanks a lot for listening today. We just had a blast. Thanks for hitting the table several times and just being that passionate guy that you are. That's great.
Thanks,
Good.
Jim.
Nice to see you.
You too, sir.